Okay, we are coming to you live today, lunchtime Wednesday. I would try to guess what the date is, but you know what? The days keep rolling by so quick. I gotta get up and cheat and look at my calendar. Wow, today is October 7th. So crazy. Well, anyways, I have a lot to show you today. So we're going to get started, and welcome to Creating with Colleen, where I will show you what to do. I may show you what not to do, but I promise to teach you something. Today, I really wanted to feature on some cards made with designer papers. So last week, I went through and we took a walk through the sale that Stampin' Up is having on sale right now for the month of October. So for October, it's a great time to stock up on your designer series papers. They selected 15 papers at 15% off. And in my newsletter, I will have this link, but I'll give you the link with a PDF that you can print off. If you don't have my newsletter, please go to my blog, creatingwithcolleen.typepad.com, and request it. I will have this link in there, plus the last link where we viewed almost all the papers, and of course the sale flyer. So we're going to get started. I had some different cards that I wanted to show you that feature some of the designer on paper. But in addition to that, at the end, I'm going to actually show you two of my favorite designer paper cards. I'll give you the dimensions, and then I am going to create one with you, because the best thing about designer paper is everybody has it. In fact, nobody has to admit just how much they actually have. Nobody's going to make you do that confession. And it's great because you can just use little strips and make a card. So hey, Steph, I'm glad you could join me. This here, just a quick review of some of the cards we've shown before. This paper here is called Snowflake Splendor, and it is on page 37 of the mini catalog. That is normally $11.50, and this month it's on sale for $9.78. So this is a really cute card that Chris Spano had made, but I love the paper. It has some beautiful colors in there, and it's not just great for winter and Christmas, but definitely January, February, March, when Virginia has its coldest months of the year. Next, this is called Magic in the Night, and this card was from Michelle Moyers, and great papers. Even if you're not huge on Halloween, this Magic in the Night designer paper has some beautiful colors, and this can be found on page 53 of the mini catalog. Now this card is really cool. This one here was made by Anna Crosby, and this is called Trim in the Town Designer Series paper. And this is found on page 25 of the mini catalog. But what I loved about this card is she didn't even do any stamping. Basically, it has a stamp set and dies that go with it. So this is a die, a nice snowy scene. That's your snowflake background. Season's Greetings is in the designer paper. And so are these houses. So she had actually cut this out and just made a cute card with no ink. So I really did like that. Next, we have, these were two from both my uplines. One was created by Faith Clark, one was by Melissa Ellis. And I loved it because this designer series paper is called In Good Taste, and that's on page 148 of the annual catalog. And this was a paper I showed you last week that has a lot of rustic papers. That was just great for creating, but also for masculine cards. It has wood grains, has this beautiful tile, really, really nice. And that paper is regularly $21 because you get twice the amount of sheets. You get 24 sheets for only $17.85, and that's double-sided, so you get lots of options. And again, that is on page 148 of the annual catalog. So I'm going to show you a few more, and then we will create. We have a postage punch, and it looks just like a postage stamp, and that is great for creating cards because, as you can see, you could just make a small collage. This was created by Joyce Daniel, and it's called 'Tis the Season Designer Series paper. It is a 6x6 pack of paper, so you actually get 48 sheets. It is on page 31 of the annual catalog. and normally $11.50, on sale for $9.78. So Joyce actually stamped these pieces, but then for her accents, she just punched these out of the designer paper, put this all together in a card, and it is what I call stinking cute. Now Diana Gibbs pretty much did the same. Now this paper is not on sale, but she took designer paper, and again, that's that postage punch, which is great for punching words. It is great for punching designer paper. So here you have your two papers. Here she actually stamped the images and colored them and punched them out. But again, that is really adorable. So what I want to show you is when you have designer paper, all you need are strips of paper. How many times do you cut something and you have a 1-inch strip that is left over? So for this card, the card base is 4 1/4 by 11. So it's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And this second layer, which is your green layer here, your granny apple green, that's 4 by 5 1/4. The designer paper backing, this right here, the Pacific Point, is 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then you just need 3 strips of designer paper. That is 1 by 4 inches. So that is your pattern. That you can use with any designer paper you have. And if you look at this, I loved this paper. It's called Whale of a Time Designer Series paper. It is a 6 by 6 pack, and it actually is on sale. It's on page 150 of the annual catalog, and it is on sale at 15% off for $9.78. But I loved this because in the beginning, I just took a piece of the designer paper and I cut 3 inches by 4 inches because I wanted these turtles to go swimming through the layers. Then for that 3 inches, I cut it 1 inch, 1 inch, right there. So you have it to where it's the 1-inch strips, but the whole piece of paper was put together to show this sea of turtles swimming in the background. And then in that gorgeous paper, you had this awesome turtle looking at you. I mean, can't you just see him going, "What's up?" He's just swimming through. And it just was a great pattern. So again, another card you can make. This is one. So with this one, again, these papers aren't on sale, but you can see how you use them in different papers. So now I want to show you, so these were the measurements. You can always freeze the frame here and know that these measurements will make this card. So I'll give you just a minute, but you can always go back, pause this, and you will see the measurements. So again, works with any designer paper. Same with this one. With this card, with your strips, yes, Donna said she loves the turtles. I do too. Hello, Lily and Stephanie. I'm glad you are going on vacation, Steph. It's a great time of the year. So with this card, I'll show you this one later. This card here, this card features the Peony Garden Suite. So let me just put this, I got ahead of myself. Let me show you that suite first. Then I'm going to show you how to create this card with different pieces of the paper. I like to give you options. So basically, this is in the annual catalog on page 84, and it's called Prized Peony. Now this is gorgeous because it is a realistic type stamp, and when you stamp these flowers, again, they are gorgeous, they are very detailed, and as you know, if it is shaded in gray, it has a die that will cut it out. So the cool thing about this, again, this is the Prized Peony stamp set. But the wonderful thing about this is in the framelits, and I apologize, I don't have one made yet, but not only do they cut out images in the stamp set, but when you see how many dies are in here, you have a border die, and then there's like 4 of these that actually make a 3D peony. I'll have to work on that soon to show you. But it is an actual flower that looks so complicated, and with only 4 of the pieces it can be made. It's absolutely gorgeous. So you can definitely get this as a bundle. Whenever you buy the stamp set, right here, whenever you buy the stamp set and the dies together, you save 10%. But please check this out on page 84 of the annual catalog because it is great sentiments and even more beautiful flowers. I love when a flower is so pretty, you don't even have to, you know, color it to make it gorgeous. So it also coordinates with the Peony Garden Designer Series paper. I'm going to show you that really quick. Now this here, this is on sale. It is, again, on page 149 of the Peony Garden Designer Series paper. It's in the annual catalog, and it is on sale for $9.78. And the colors that go with this are Petal Pink, Basic Gray, Gray Granite, and Whisper White. And unfortunately, the computer never does it justice, but look at this marble. I mean, that looks like real marble. And I love the sketchiness of the flowers. This is a beautiful paper that can be used for many, many occasions. So now let me go back to my card. This here, this card base, and keep in mind, whenever you are doing a card base, it really just depends on the direction that you cut your card. So say, for example, if I have, sorry, I'll use my sale item. This is 8.5 by 11. If I cut it in half, then I am going to get 2 pieces of cardstock that would fold either this way or this way, because that's in half. If I went long ways, if I cut it long ways, like this, I would have 2 pieces that would open this way or this way. But no matter what your card base is, if you just take a half a sheet of cardstock, it's always going to be 5.5 by 4 1/4. So how it opens, that's pretty much up to you. So you're going to cut your card base, again, however you want. Then for this piece, for the large front layer, that is 5 by 3 3/4. For the designer paper layer, that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then you're just going to need 4 small strips of designer paper that are 1 inch by 3 1/4. So this is one option, but I'm going to show you how to make this one. And the nice thing is they're pretty much just opposite sides of the paper, because you know our designer paper is double-sided and it is just absolutely gorgeous. So you always have options. So again, this piece here is one for my designer paper. This is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And y'all know what I always say, when you are taping something down, don't push it down till it is exactly where you want it. So I'm just going to layer these pieces on here. Again, not pushing down. And a lot of times what I like to do is I like to do my ends first. I'm going to try to do it this way. I normally turn the paper vertical, which I might do towards the end. But see, then once I have my sides, it's easier for me to kind of split the difference in the middle. Because you want it close, but you know what? It's a hand stamped card. Don't pressure yourself. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, which of course, then I'll tear these up 3 times to make it perfect. But close enough does count, even if you were a drafter in a previous life. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So then I will press them all down. So once I have this, I am going to take some of our, I love this ribbon. It's hard for me to handle because it's so silky, but this here is our, goodness, it's in every language but English. Let me find it. Shame I don't read, Crinkle, here we go. Here's English, Crinkled Seam Binding Ribbon. And it is just that, it's crinkly, so it's kind of cool. So I am going to take a piece just a little bit longer than my cardstock. I am going to should have my craft and rubber mat. That would work perfect for this. But I'm putting a little bit of adhesive on the ends and in the middle. Again, it's very silky. So I'll just kind of lay this on the top. And I don't really want to pull it too much because I like some of that crinkleness in there. Then I will wrap this around. And I always, like I said, even though it's just that little bit, I can always wrap this around. Okay. And here I have a little bit of that crinkling on the top. So the reason I wanted to wrap these around first was because I want to use dimensionals to pop it up on my backing, on the petal pink. So here I will just take my dimensionals, always one in each corner, one in the middle. This way it holds up that center. And when it's your own house, you can throw your dimensional backings anywhere you want. Then I will mount it on here. And again, this color here is called Gray Granite, and it's such a gorgeous color. I really need to use it even more than I do because it's not a gray, it's not a brown, kind of like a warm taupe, but really warm. Does that make sense? I don't know if that does or not, but you'd have to see it, it's gorgeous. So here, I'm just going to take this, put it on the front. Now for this centerpiece here, I'm just going to take a scrap piece of white Whisper White cardstock. I have my Gray Granite, and I'm just going to stamp "My thoughts are with you." And I love that because that could be for anything, especially these days. Then I'm taking the 1.5 inch circle punch. I will punch that out. And just to soften it up a bit, I'm going to take the Petal Pink ink, sponge it, and just scrape the edge. And this, like I said, it softens it up, but it gives an edge to the white so I don't lose it up against the white Designer Series paper. A little bit of a scratching. And these are the sponges that we sell. They are round. I typically cut them in half and cut that into thirds. So it's like getting 6 pieces in one sponge. So now I wanted to back this on something. So I picked another punch. And if you give me just a minute, I'll tell you which one it is. I forgot to look it up. But I like it because, again, it gives me a nice backing on it. So this punch is called Timeless Label. So when I went to put it on here, I liked it, but I felt that was a little bit long because it kind of bleeds into both sides of the other Gray Granite. So if you take it and you slide it in the side, like back inside here. Now it did it, my hands are shaking. It did it perfect the first time. So see how I slid it up inside there? And I don't need to take a lot off, but I do want to take some off. Let me see where we're at here. Then it's not so long, so I just punch it again. And then it's smaller, but yet it's still going to stick out both sides to give me a nice, something behind this white so that I can see it. So I will put this on, and again, I like it because instead of it going into the Gray Granite here and here, and I lose these edges, it's now on the designer paper. So it makes a nice backing. And then I'm just going to take My Thoughts Are With You. Put a dimensional on here. I love depth on my card. And then when I put this on here, it's just a nice touch behind it. So again, right here, you can even make this card or make your designer paper cards. And then at that point, if you want, you can leave your sentiment off. And then when you need a card, you could grab it. So here, I just have a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 Whisper White cardstock. Whenever I have a darker colored, cardstock base, I like to put white or something in there so you can really see when you write something in there. So I'm going to stamp one of those beautiful peonies. Back this here. And that's the center of my card. So again, just another very simple designer paper card with the strips that you have. So these were the measurements for this one. So this is with the peony paper. I just had a class for the boho indigo, and that designer paper is amazing. And so what's nice about the boho indigo medley, product medley, is that it really has everything you need. It has the designer paper, it has the paper embellishments, it has paper labels, 2 types of ribbon, the stamp set, matching dies, and it is great. But I had to make this card. It's stamped on the inside. I just had to make this card because I wanted to take advantage of the designer paper that is in that kit. So that is what I have for you today. Please keep in mind our designer papers are on sale through the end of the month, but quantities are limited. So, a lot of them are from the holiday catalogs and were great, but with limited quantities, please place your order early. You can use this host code that I have right here, and you can either order on my blog at creatingwithcolleen.typepad.com, or you could email me your order. You can also just go straight to my demonstrator business website, which is everything I do is creatingwithcolleen.stampinup.net. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed your lunch with me today. I know you all have designer paper, so start using it and start blessing people with your cards. So thanks so much. You all have a beautiful day. And let me see. Oh, Stephanie wanted to know what the name of the turtle paper was. Stephanie, it's called Whale of a Time Designer Series Paper. It is 6 by 6. It's on page 150 of the annual catalog. And again, on sale for $9.78. And even if you didn't buy the stamp set that coordinates with that, it is the most gorgeous paper I've ever seen. And each little sheet of paper is like a card in itself. So that's Whale of a Time Designer Paper. So I'm looking at my other questions. I think we are good. You can always reach me. Again, email, private message. If there's any way I can help you create, I am always here for you. So God bless you all. Enjoy the rest of the day. And make sure you do something creative. Take care.